facilitator. Through many years of studying and researching people's life stories, she's noticed that there's a lot of people who do not get the most out of life. Here it is again, the same theme. Wow, this is amazing. In her talk, she'll be speaking about how so many people are just fed up, knowing that there's so much more to life, but don't know how to attain it. And instead of just inspiration, Linda's going to give us some real strategy for life that we can use to implement change immediately. She's laughing. Let's welcome Linda Ray.
How do you follow everybody from today? Going with almost last slot. What I want you to do, well, just for a minute, I just want you to close your eyes. And I know it's been a long day, so it's no excuse to go to sleep. And I want you to think back to a time, which is probably while you were still at school, when you were young and you were free, you had your whole life ahead of you. And you were out to conquer the world. You could do anything that you wanted. It was a great time, wasn't it? Now open your eyes and come back to the present. How many of you think, wow, that is certainly not what I expected my life to look like? How many of you? Most of us could never have imagined what would happen to us. Adversity happens to all of us in our lives, and it's how we deal with it that determines how resilient we become and what we can use and how our lives will play out in the future. I want to tell you a little bit about my story and some of the strategies that I learned along the way for people who are also going through a tough time, so they can learn how to help people learn how to deal with the consequences of their circumstances. I want to go back to the 14th of February 2003, Valentine's Day and my 45th birthday. It was a beautiful, warm summer's night. I was sitting on the deck with my 14-year-old daughter Kimberly, looking out to the west, beautiful sunset out there, and discussing everything that had gone on in the last 2 years since the death of her father and my husband Terry. That was certainly not the way I expected my 45th birthday and Valentine's Day to play out. So at that time, I was 45, as I said, a solo mum. I had no self-esteem, no confidence, and felt very insecure. And little did I know that a couple of months later I was going to lose my job due to changes in the company that I worked for, which only exacerbated all the problems. On top of that, I was extremely frustrated. I did not like my life. I did not like the way it was going, but I didn't know how to change it. Everything that I had tried to do to change it just didn't work. I just kept on hitting that brick wall all the time. But I was determined that I was going to find out, because I knew that I was the only one that could do it. But I'd read all the books. I'd set all the goals. I'd done the affirmations. I had my dream board, and I tried to focus on a brighter future, but to no avail. And as someone talked before about this whole secret of the law of attraction, I could not figure out what the secret was at that stage, no matter how hard I tried. It was still a secret to me. But I had this poem going round and round in my mind. And the last 2 lines of it said that any price I asked of life, life would have paid. So any price I asked of life, life would have paid? Yeah, right. Not from my point of view, but I was determined that I was going to find the missing link between my reality and what I wanted my life to look like. And what kept me searching was a determination not to go to my grave knowing that life had so much to offer and I'd missed out on it. No, I left my hat. So when I was searching for the answer to this, it was suggested to me that I write out a whole timeline of my life, right from as far back as I could remember, right up to the present, and as I remember things, to keep adding them to it. And as I did, I found some very interesting things happening. Now, this timeline is something that I would recommend everybody do for two reasons. The first one is, especially if you have children, they'll make it so much easier for them when they come to write your eulogy. when they're younger, they don't care about your life. They don't care that you grew up in a completely different age than they did. And when they're older and want to know, you're starting to get Alzheimer's disease and you don't even remember what happened. The second thing is, it helps you find out where your limiting beliefs are. What people have said to you, or things that have happened, which makes you think you are the way that you are today. And when I did this, I found some real trends happening. Firstly, my mother, although she loved us dearly, she was very negative by nature, and I found that I could never ever do anything right. So always trying to change and be somebody else. I could never accept myself the way I was. When I was 15 years old, my father decided that I needed a practical sex education lesson. I was horrified, but I had to go along with what my father wanted because he had a very quick temper and he could quickly become very violent. And my two sisters and I had often felt the full force of his anger being thrown into walls or downstairs. And as a result of the sexual abuse, I became very promiscuous, encouraged also by growing up in the 70s and 80s when society had become very liberal about sex. I began searching for intimacy, love, and belonging in all the wrong places. When I was nearly 17, I moved from Kaitaia, the far north, to Auckland to live and study. And within a year, I began having an affair with a married guy next door. He was 10 years older than me, and I was very naive and vulnerable, and I was easily seduced. Not that it's an excuse, but it happened. Our relationship over 4 years, and then the next 4 years of being married, when I look back at it, was bizarre. But that's a story for another time. And it was then that I met Terry. Terry was just so different. He was so full of life, such energy. He was just fun to be around. He was bus driver on camping tours and I was the cook. And I think we'd had more fun than all the passengers combined. It was great. And after 6 years, we got married and we had our daughter Kimberly. And what wasn't recognised at the time was Terry suffered from depression, which gradually just got worse and worse over the next 14 years. And as his illness progressed, he got increasingly frustrated, and he would take that out on me. He'd verbally take it out on me. He didn't touch me physically, but verbally he did. But despite everything, he said to the doctors that he'd never do anything silly, he'd never take his own life because of his love for our daughter Kimberly. In the end, love wasn't enough. And on the 6th of April 2001, Terry took his own life, leaving us absolutely devastated. Yeah, this is my story, and we know from today it's not unique. Some people have been through much worse than I have, and some people may only relate to a few things, but chances are everybody can relate to something. So now that I understood myself much more, what was I going to do about it? That's what I had to figure out, what I was going to do from there. I still had to find that missing link, and I did. It's what I call it was my missing link anyway. And now I'm having a mind blank because I'm up here, but who's just spoken? Joanne. Who just spoke? Joanne, I was. Jo just spoke about, I discovered that I was unique, as we all are. Our own strengths, our own weaknesses, and we've just got to use them in the best way possible. We weren't born to be like anybody else, so comparing ourselves to anybody else is just absolutely senseless. And it took me so long to realise that, and when I did, I actually started moving forward. So that is, my first strategy is to do your timeline. The second one is to really take on that self-belief. The third one was, okay, now that I know that, what am I going to do about it? Who knows who this little guy here is? I called him little, but I shouldn't. He's only small because he's got no arms and no legs.
Yeah.
Like voice. So he's an inspirational speaker from Australia. And he says that the hardships we face provide us with the opportunities to discover who we're meant to be and what we can share of our lives to benefit others. And this becomes our purpose in life. And Amanda talked about that so well again just after lunch. So when you understand what your purpose in life is, like, okay, what am I going to do? And that is why I do share my story, but I know that I don't have all the answers. That is why I've literally talked to and interviewed hundreds of people. I've read books and articles online. I've done other things as well. And I discovered there's about four different groups of people. The first ones I call the disillusioned acceptors. Life is tough, it's always been tough, and that's just the way it's going to be. They're always blaming other people for it, so it's never ever going to get any better. And these people have very little resilience. So this is not working the way it's supposed to. The next group of people I call the disillusioned explorers. Okay, life is tough. They don't like it the way it is. They want to change it, but they just don't know what to do. This was very much how I was in my mid-40s. And I find these people usually have pretty good practical resilience, but they are emotionally not resilient at all. The third group of people, the optimistic acceptors. Life is pretty good. You know, these people have been through a lot, they've done a lot. There's still things they want to do, but there's just something holding them back. They're not sure what it is, so at the moment they're just prepared to accept the status quo. And these people here have pretty good practical and emotional resilience. But for those people who have found out what is holding them back, they know what their core resilience profile is, which helps them identify what is holding them back. They've found it, they've worked on it, and then they go through and they become the optimistic explorers. These are people, life is great, they've still got so many dreams and goals ahead of them, so many things they want to do, and they're going to go out and do them. And these people have great levels of practical and emotional resilience. As for me, I found out, I studied this core resilience profile, I found out what was holding me back and dealt with it. And now I'm very happily married to my husband Gavin. I got 3 times as well, but very happily married to my husband Gavin. And I'm so grateful that every morning we wake up and decide what we're going to do with our day. And to us, wealth is measured in time, not money. Time to travel the world, to walk the beaches and climb the mountains, and time to spend with family and friends. I live what I now call, or what I used to call, my impossible dream. My wish for you is that if you're not living your impossible dream, that you find out what is holding you back and you go on to do it. Life's too short not to. Thank you.